Alright, boom. So let's talk about Manchester United. Let's talk about the potential transfer targets. Now, it's crucial that United finish in the top four this season because they need Champions League. Being in the Champions League next season means more money, and it means being able to attract more players because everyone wants to play in the Champions League. Don't get me wrong, Manchester United is a big club. You can still attract some players, but then you can't compete with teams that are in the Champions League. So, for example, if a player's going to choose between Man City and United, I'm sure he'd choose Man City because of the position they're in. Or even, I don't know, Arsenal or Liverpool, because you've got to be in the Champions League if you want big name players. So if Man United finish in a Champions League position, then these transfer targets are achievable. Now when I look at the United squad, the defence worries me a lot. I don't remember the last time I saw De Ligt play. For me, I think De Ligt is a big concern. I think he's injury prone. I think Bayern Munich knew something which Manchester United didn't. And I think they sold De Ligt knowing he had an injury issue. And it's clear to see that De Ligt, obviously there is something going on with him. So for me, that's a big concern there. De Ligt is not reliable. Then we look at Lisandro Martinez, a great player, but then he's another concern because you look at him and you think, is he an injury-prone player now? How many games a season will he play before he's out for a period of time? So that's two defenders you're looking at as injury-prone. Then you got Harry Maguire, who for me is Mr. Reliable, but then he's getting to that age where you don't want to be paying him a high salary, where you can spend that on someone who could be at United for the next 10 years. So for me, Harry Maguire, I would say, is Mr. Reliable, but then I wouldn't mind keeping him just as long as we can get the salary down. As long as we can negotiate a lower salary, I wouldn't mind keeping Harry Maguire. But then who does that leave? That leaves Heaven and Euro. So for me, a centre-back is crucial. When I look at the Premier League, there's a few options. Now, if United finish in the Champions League, we can go for anyone. Not anyone like that, but in terms of someone that's not in the Champions League or not playing for a big team. So when I look at Aston Villa, Konsa stands out for me, centre-back. I think he's a great player. He's been amazing for Villa. I think he'd do great at United. If we approach Aston Villa, I think we can get them to sell Konsa. I think the player would be open for the move. Another centre-back I'm looking at is Van Heck from Brighton. He's young. He's a big defender. I think United need big defenders, tall defenders. Van Heck is another one that's in mind. I want to stay clear of Romero and Van de Ven. Not a fan of them too. But yeah, Conte and Van Heck, two that have sort of popped up in my mind. That this season I've seen and I thought, yeah, they're amazing. Like, I can see them at United. Could we sign 2 centre backs? It all depends on the sales as well. But one of those two would be a great addition. A left back for me, Luke Shaw needs to go now. He's been a great servant to United, but it's time to go. I'd be looking at Lewis Hall from Newcastle, a youngster, great player. The thing with our fullbacks is we need fullbacks that can cross a ball. So anyone that can cross should be on United's transfer target. For me, I'm saying Lewis Hall and Anthony Robinson from Fulham. He's gone under the radar a bit. I think he's still a great player. Young, he's fast, he can whip a ball in. I should be looking at them too. Our right back, I think Dallo needs to go. He's just a passion merchant. For me, he's not good enough. He doesn't do anything right. I think we should be looking at Crystal Palace's right back, Munoz. He's really good. He's very direct as well. He can cross the ball, he can finish. So in terms of fullbacks, we've got Lewis Hall, Anthony Robinson, we've got Munoz, and there was one more, if I can get the name in my head. Pedro Porro. Yeah, sorry. Pedro Porro, Tottenham. He can whip a ball in. He's probably the only one I'd look at from Tottenham. Pedro Porro. I think those are the fullbacks we need. Someone that's direct, can cross the ball in, has got a shot on them. Now, the midfield is very important. The likes of Casemiro will be going. Ugarte needs to go. The midfield battle is where United are weak, very weak. I'd be looking at several players. Like I said, if United are in the Champions League, they're already a big club, but being in the Champions League makes you even a bigger club. So when you approach players, it's easy to get them to agree to come to your club. So many targets. We only need 2. So many options. And I don't mind whoever it is. I'm looking at Wharton, Gibbs White, Elliot Anderson, Deleba, Tonali, Bruno G. Any 2 of those, amazing. That's all United need to do. Grab 2 midfielders from those options, and that midfield will be amazing. And like I said, Man United's already a big club. Champions League makes it even bigger. Approach anybody, it's possible. The next position now, for me, is key after the midfield, and that's left wing. Plenty of options. You've got Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, Somerville. You've got Kevin Schade, You've got Mohamed Kudus. These are players that are quick, direct, they've got a shot in them, pacey, young, Premier League proven. What more do you want? Those are the key targets for left wing. So we've gone through centre back, fullbacks, midfield, and left wing. I think the rest of the positions are fine. We've got players that can rotate, players that can play in more than one position. But obviously, when you look at the transfer window, you've got to sell players to buy players. Now, selling players, I'm looking at Luke Shaw, Diego Dallo, Ugarte, possibly Mason Mount, Xerxes. You got to look at players in order to buy new players, more players, better players. You got to sell players first. I'd even look at the sale of maybe Delete, only because of injury prone. We don't need defenders that are injury prone. We need defenders we can rely on. But those are the Premier League targets. Those are the players that play in the Premier League, that are Premier League proven, young, direct, Mr. Reliable. Now, as for the United fans worldwide that watch the French League, the German League, the Spanish League, the Italian League, let me know in the comments. Let me know what players are available, what players to look out for, who should be on United's transfer target, any position. Because the players I've named are all Prem proven players. So let me know if there's other targets outside of the league. But it's going to be a big window for United. A big summer for them. And like I said, these targets won't be achievable in my eyes without Champions League. And I think with Champions League, any transfer is available, any transfer is achievable, but it has to make sense. The money has to be right. You gotta look at the salary, you gotta look at the transfer market. You don't wanna overspend, you don't wanna spend big on one player and not be able to chase other targets. You wanna be able to spend big but buy multiple players. The transfer market is where United have to be more smart, more strategic, and you need to be able to sell players. I think selling players is key. It's going to be an important summer, an important end to the season. I do hope United get Champions League, and I hope they stay in the Champions League for seasons to come. I hope they manage to get the targets they need. As a United fan, I want United to build a strong team. I want to look at players and I want to sell players that we don't need anymore. Players that are on high wages. Sanchez leaving on a free, that's good. Rashford, we should sell him. If you can get rid of these players, then the wages, get that down. And then when you need, buying new players, don't overspend and just make sure the wages are not as high. But yeah, let me know, United fans, what you think of my transfer targets. If there's any other targets available outside of the Premier League, let me know. But yeah, big end to this season. Fingers crossed, Champions League is what United achieve, and then a big summer ahead.